Hi, this is Lauren Rivera. I play Sienna in Terrifier 2, and you're listening to the Horror Squad podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast. This is episode number 331, where tonight we are going to be talking about 2024's Abigail, directed by Radio Silence. I'm here, of course, as always, with Todd and Steve. Gentlemen, how was your week?
It's pretty good. It's heating up around here. Kid sports shit's heating up. We got football starting again, which is like a 7-month commitment. It's ridiculous. And start playing disc golf. I don't know if there's any disc golfers out there, but I had a hell of a time. But I'm garbage. The par for the hole I played at was 29. I scored a 45. So definitely got to improve those numbers. But it was nice to get some steps in, some fitness, and all that stuff. So that's fun.
Now, I didn't know for the longest time what the fuck those like chain link little contraptions were. They have them at the park next to me, and it's only like fairly recently that I figured out that was a.
It's fun, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. I suck at like normal golf. I can't drive for shit. I know Joe's the golfer in the group, but yeah, disc golf, I can throw a freaking frisbee, so let's go.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I'm just still moving. That's my whole life until I get it done. So yeah, nothing really new to report on that end. Joe, you did like a few things this weekend, eh? Like a little thing here and there.
Yes, sir. Shout out Texas Frightmare Weekend. I'm not going to talk about it now. I'm going to talk about it during what watch because I didn't really have time to watch many movies, obviously. So I will give a full breakdown of Texas Frightmare Weekend during our watch segment. But shout out Texas Frightmare Weekend. They were awesome enough to give us some press passes for that. So shout out to them for that. I do want to mention, though, Living Dead Weekend, because literally we are only 2 weeks away now from the event. Very, very exciting. Going to be an awesome weekend. The official Horror Squad podcast meetup. It is finally here. We've been talking about it forever, and it's right around the corner now. So if you plan on joining us, we should be posting like our full itinerary very, very soon over on our Discord. But I do want to share sort of general information right now about Living Dead Weekend. If you are planning on coming, they just posted it. So on Friday, the con is going to open at noon until 8 p.m. The vendor hall will be open. The celebrity area will be open from 2 to 8. And then there also will be a film screening that night. We don't plan on attending that. We are planning a dinner with everyone that comes. So that will probably be, my guess, sometime around 7-8 o'clock in the evening. And then on Saturday, the con is going to open at 10 until 7 p.m. The vendor and celebrity signing will go until then. But from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock, we are going to be doing the mall tour. Do not forget about that on Saturday. If you have not bought your tickets for the mall tour yet, you should do it very soon because it probably will sell out before the event. So if you plan on joining us for the mall tour on Saturday, obviously not mandatory. If you just want to, hang out and come see us after for the dinner, you can do that as well. But if you would like to join us for that, 1 p.m. mall tour on Saturday. And then, of course, we'll do some sort of dinner Saturday night. And then Sunday, for those of you that will be there, that will kind of be most people's leave day. But the con will run from 11 to 5 celebrity and vendor areas. So there it is, a little breakdown of the weekend there. There's also going to be panels and stuff. They have not released the panel schedule yet, but there will be panels and stuff as well. Who are you guys planning on meeting?
No one.
No one.
No, I'm just kidding. I got Day of the Dead. I forget his name. Martin. Played Martin.
Yeah, John Amplis.
Yeah, I need him on my Day of the Dead poster to finish it out. I've already met Tom Atkins, so like it's gonna be cool to see him, but I'm not gonna get anything else signed.
Yeah, and for me, Amplis as well on my Day of the Dead poster. I'm also meeting Tom Atkins. I never had the pleasure, so very excited about meeting him. Then John Russo, who co-wrote Night of the Living Dead. So, I mean, there's not a whole lot of people left to sign my Night of the Living Dead poster, which is currently signed by Romero only. So pretty psyched for that. And also, there was a fourth one, the director of Monster Squad, which is Fred Decker, I think. That's the 4 that I'm planning to get over the weekend, because let's face it, the majority of the people are like background actors at this con. It's like a lot of zombies from the Dead films, especially Dawn. So nothing I'm particularly interested in. It'll be cool to see them, just knowing that I'm like in the presence of all of them, but not anyone I'd pay like $20 or $30 or whatever the hell they charge for an autograph for. What about you, Joe?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Night of the Creeps obviously is sort of the big thing this year. They have the big cast reunion for Night of the Creeps. We're gonna be reviewing it, so I'll save my thoughts for that movie in a couple weeks. As far as who I'm actually going to meet, I don't know. I think maybe John Amplis as well, because I have a pretty cool Father's Day figure that I might have him sign, and then of course he played Martin, which I just watched recently, and I might get something from that. Other than that, probably just Fred Decker, because I have a Monster Squad poster, so I'll probably have him sign that. And I want to wear my Horror Squad podcast, our Monster Squad logo shirt, and with a group picture of the 3 of us in it. You guys can just sneak in on my picture after I get his autograph or whatever, and I'm hoping we can plan that. And then I think we're the 3 of us, I think, might be planning a photo op with Savini, dressed as his character from Dawn of the Dead in the screen used sidecar motorcycle from the movie too, which should be pretty fun. So yeah, it should be a really fun weekend. Hopefully, once again, you can join us just a couple weeks away, June 7th through the 9th, Monroeville, Pennsylvania, the home of the Dawn of the Dead. It is not too late if you are a new listener or you're just hearing about this now. Maybe you haven't been, listening and catching up. It's not too late. Plenty of tickets are available. If you're close in the area, flights are fairly cheap right now to get down there. So you can fly into Pittsburgh, which is only about less than 30 minutes away from Monroeville, and hotels are still available in the area and stuff like that. So hopefully you can join us if you haven't planned already. But yeah, it should be a really fun time. So yeah, we'll see you guys there very soon. All right, gentlemen, let's get into it. What you been watching this week?
All right, I'll go first. So my first movie is a 2024 film that I watched over on VOD, and it's the name of Sting. So Sting is about a meteor crashes down into an apartment building, and a little spider comes out of it, and the spider starts, causing a little bit of chaos, but not too much, until it goes into a place where a little girl finds it, and she puts it in a jar and then brings it to her room, and it starts growing and growing, and all of a sudden people are starting to question the size of the spider eventually escapes and then creates absolute havoc in that apartment building, and a lot of shit happens, so I won't spoil it. So I had no idea what to expect from this. I hadn't really heard anything about it. I like spider movies. I mean, I reviewed one last week, which I thought was really good as well when I reviewed Infested. So I was like in a spider mood. And honestly, I like this a lot. The film provides a really good mix of over the top scares mixed with like really good kills and killer effects, like pretty good practical effects, as well as some CGI because of the spider, of course. But they did a good job of it, so it wasn't like distracting or anything. The film also doesn't feature too many characters. It's really kind of relegated to whoever is in that building. So you really get to know those characters and you care more about their fate, which is something I complain a lot when they have just like these characters that show up for no reason. So I like that a lot. And the movie fucking turns it to 11 in the final act. You know what? I had a lot of fun with this one. It's one of my favorites of the year so far. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. I don't know if everyone would give it that high of a score, but honestly, I had so much fun watching it. I highly recommend it if you can find it. That's Sting 2024, which I watched over on VOD.
All right, cool. Glowing review. Yeah, I watched a anthology over on Tubi called Dead of Night from 1977. It says I had watched this before, but I didn't really remember anything about it, so I guess I'll call it a fresh watch. But it's 3 thingies, and the first one it's called Second Chance, where this guy has like this old 1920s car that he restores, right? And when he drives it for the first time, he gets transported back to the 1920s. And the car itself has a dark history. The people that had it before him died in a car crash, so he restored it from after that. Just sat in someone's garage and rotted. So naturally, the people that died in the car crash are young teenagers in this one, and they steal the car from him, and it sets off a chain of events that ripple down in time. So when he eventually gets back to his time, things have changed just because of that. So pretty cool. I love time travel, so any of that stuff really gets me going. Zero scares though, not a horror movie at all. So it shouldn't have been in this anthology. The next one is No Such Thing as Vampires, where basically it's like Victorian age. So you got like a lot of Victorian aged architecture and furniture and people dressed up like that and things like that. And supposedly this dude's wife is being every night a vampire is coming in and sucking her blood and shit. Turns out though, she's just cheating on him, and this is all an elaborate hoax to frame her lover that he's a vampire. I'm like, there's easier ways like to get through this relationship problem than staging a whole fake vampire thing for the entire town, you freaking psycho. And then the last one, which is the best one out of here, is Bobby, where unfortunately this young boy, maybe like 12, 13, something like that, he died, he drowned, and his mother is home alone, and she's been praying to the devil, trying to get him back, right? And this kid just shows up at her door, but he's not the same, and I'll leave it at that. Very effective. The ending, though, is like you'll either find it super hilarious or super scary because it's just fucking weird. It's out there, and you can kind of see a spoiler by the poster that is on Letterbox for it of what I'm talking about. So Dead of Night, I gave it 3 out of 5 over on Tubi. Yeah, it's pretty cool, but nothing to write home about. Plus, it's only like an hour long, so that's always nice.
Right. I'll go again. I'll let Joe go last because he's going to upstage us anyway. So my second one this week is a movie from 1964, which I watched over on Tubi, and it is The Mask of the Red Death. So of course we're doing our top of the 60s sometime in the late summer, and also unfortunately we lost Roger Corman last week, so I wanted to kind of honor him and review something that he had done, and it stars one of my favorite actors of all time, Vincent Price. So this is the story of the Red Death, is like this disease that's going on in this town, and Vincent Price's character is like a prince in this town or a king or something, and he's in cahoots with the devil, so he can protect people from the Red Death. At least that's what he says. So he makes all the people in the town do all sorts of like weird shit for him just for his own amusement, with the guys that if they obey to him, he's going to protect them from the Red Death. So he does this kind of ball where he's just like messing with people and shit and just being a total jerk. And and eventually delves a little bit into horror territory. So I'd seen this one a really long time ago, like near college time, and I didn't remember much about it. It's an enjoyable film. Vincent Price, I mean, what can I say? He's fucking amazing as always. And it's really like crazy the kind of shit that he makes people do in the story to kind of obey him and stuff. It was very entertaining in a way. I wouldn't say this is like super horror though. If you're going into it expecting this big kind of scare fest or anything like that, there isn't much of it, but it's very like visually appealing. There's a lot of colors and stuff like that. Each disease is represented by a different color kind of reaper, and this one focuses on the red one, the Red Death. So yeah, it's an interesting film. I don't quite think it's going to be like top of my 60s interesting or top 10 of my 60s interesting, but still one worthy of checking out. So that is The Mask of the Red Death, 1964, over on Tubi, and I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars.
All right, my last one. I did watch Bruiser, but I'll say that one for George Romero. But spoiler, Joe, you were wrong about that movie, sir. So my next one, Bruiser's awesome, by the way. The Birds, 1963, going through the 60s list, and I'm having a good time, man. 60s is a huge like hole in my knowledge base. The only thing I remembered about this movie was the very ending, so this is a very fresh watch. It's super weird though, man. Like, but I do appreciate that instead of like, these older films you usually have like very creepy dudes going after girls in very strange ways. This one flips it, and Alfred Hitchcock has the girl being super fucking creepy going after the guy. And the things she does like to get in his good graces it's like psychotic, borderline psychotic, man. But The Birds itself is about a small town on the coast of near San Francisco that gets bombarded by just birds. They flock together and they start attacking you and killing you, gouging your eyes out, causing havoc and stuff like that. No one knows why. And it comes in waves too. Like they'll attack, for 10 minutes or something, and then fuck off for a couple hours and then come back again. And man, I really liked it. At first, I was like, man, this is gonna be super lame because like the whole love triangle or the love angle. But then when stuff starts kicking off, like the tension in this movie is amazing, man. Like, because the birds just like they hang out and they just chill on like power lines, or they surround a school and they're just hanging out in the park, and the kids and everybody got to walk slowly out, and you're like, are they gonna attack? Are they not? Like the birds are just a character by themselves, and what they were able to pull off, especially back then, was pretty damn cool, man. And like no birds were harmed my ass. They fucking definitely killed birds in this movie. But yeah, the birds, 4 out of 5. I really liked it, and I'm having a lot of fun with the 60s. So cool stuff. That's over on, I believe, Amazon Prime right now for the streamers. Yep, Prime.
Excellent, excellent. All right. So I am going to do a full sort of breakdown recap of Texas Frightmare Weekend. Once again, shout out Texas Frightmare Weekend for the press passes. Really appreciate that. Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, Texas Frightmare Weekend, big horror convention out in Irving, Texas, right very close to Dallas. It's only about 15 minutes from downtown Dallas. They hold it every May. Last year, they moved it to the Irving Convention Center. Steve and I attended last year. Huge venue. I think it's after going this year, I think it probably is the best horror convention in the country. They just do it up right. Always have a great guest list. Always have great panels and stuff like that. They also do like movie screenings throughout the weekend and stuff like that as well. So super fun. So yeah, as far as the convention went this year, I think they worked out their kinks from last year for sure. I mean, last year was their first year in the new convention center, so they were kind of feeling it out and stuff like that. So for the most part, I mean, I think this year went fantastic. I was considering, I'm like, do I really want to go back every year and stuff? But after I had so much fun this year that I'm like, I definitely want to go back next year now. It just has it's such a great area too. There's a ton of restaurants close by and bars and stuff like that. So it's a really cool and upcoming area. And yeah, it's an awesome, definitely an awesome place. As far as barbecue, I know a lot of people are curious about that. We checked out a new place called Terry Black's Barbecue for Texas people. You'll have to let me know if if I went to the right place or not. But based on recommendations, I looked online, stuff like that. People were saying that's the kind of the place to go, or one of the best places to go. I actually asked the front desk, and the guy was like, "Oh yeah, a bunch of like Dallas Cowboys players go there and stuff. It's their favorite as well." And yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it lived up to the hype. The place we went to last year for 7 barbecue was excellent too. Some of the best barbecue I ever had. I would say Terry Black's was equally as amazing to me. I thought it was just delicious. I got brisket and sausage. My buddy got ribs. All the sides were delicious. Just amazing, amazing, amazing place. I posted pictures like everywhere on the Discord and stuff like that, so you can see some pictures from the barbecue place. But a huge, huge establishment. But my God, they moved it quick, and we had our food within under 10 minutes, and just awesome, awesome barbecue. As far as the convention goes, yeah, man, it was packed, but Saturday especially. But man, the place is so big that like you never feel overwhelmed or overcrowded. I would say on Saturday there were a couple times, especially in the celebrity area, where it was busy, especially by the Screamcast, man, because like Scream is just so hot right now. Like, I mean, it's crazy. Like that panel was filled to capacity. Did get into it though, the Scream panel on Saturday, which was awesome. They had Nev Campbell, Matthew Lillard, Skeet Ulrich, David Arquette, Lee Waddell, who played, of course, Ghostface. He was like the stunt work for Ghostface, and Roger Jackson attended the panel as well. As far as there was some interesting stuff regarding obviously Nev coming back to the franchise and stuff like that. She talked a little bit about that. Kevin Williamson is going to be directing this new one, which is cool. But one of the most interesting things I learned in that panel was Roger Jackson, actually. I always assumed he did everything in post-production, but the first 4 movies, he was on set the entire time and did all the voice work, watching like the actors acting through the screen, which I thought, I mean, maybe that's a well-known fact. It's something I never knew. And then he said once COVID hit, he does it through Zoom now. Like he watches through
Zoom.
the Zoom.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool. I
He
didn't know that
watches.
either.
Yeah. He watches like they'll literally like bring him in through Zoom and he watches like them acting and he said the only time he was on set for the new movies was the opening with Jenna in Scream 5. He was on set for that, but everything else he does through Zoom or post. But yeah, so I thought that was super interesting. Um, yeah, I mean, I met a ton of people. I met Juliette Lewis, who is kind of the new person on the con circuit. She was darling. She was an absolute sweetheart. Definitely one of the nicest celebrities. She took her time with everybody, was, hugging everybody. Very, very sweet. Went to her panel, which was interesting. Like, honestly, there wasn't a lot of horror talk at her panel. It was a lot of talk about Natural Born Killers, which obviously an awesome movie. Didn't know they used real rattlesnakes in that movie, which she talked about, which was pretty cool. They were actually walking through real rattlesnakes and shit like that, which is wild. And a lot of talk about her band, which I didn't know she was in a band, which she's in like a punk rock band called The Licks, which I thought was pretty cool. Talked about like Dave Grohl drumming for one of her albums and stuff like that. And she did get a little into From Dusk Till Dawn. Talked about how they filmed in the desert. One day it was 130 degrees filming in the desert. She said it was like the hottest experience of her entire life. She actually said it was Quentin Tarantino that called her for the movie, for the role. He was like, my buddy Robert Rodriguez is doing a movie. I'd love you to come do it with us and stuff like that. So, yeah. And she said George Clooney was awesome and stuff like that. She also talked with Cape Fear and Robert De Niro, and the infamous kiss scene where she was only like 15 years old at the time. It was that creepy moment. But she said he was a consummate professional. She said it wasn't like a weird thing. It was just like, acting and stuff like that. And she said De Niro was just an absolute pro.
Do your De Niro impression.
I mean, people can't see it. We're not on video yet.
Hey, Juliet.
So,
I
yeah.
can't do it. Like, kiss me.
But, but yeah, so her panel was great. That was the only two panels I attended, man, because I was just so busy the rest of the time. I unfortunately missed out on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre panel, which I did really want to attend. But missed out on that one. Missed out on Joe Dante as well. But I did meet Joe Dante, who, he was fine. Very not very like he's an old man, so I feel like he's not like super personable or anything, but he was fine. I met Nev Campbell, Matthew Lillard, Skeet Ulrich, and David Arquette. They were all great, like all very, very nice. No, I think they really know how to like work the crowds and the money, especially Matthew Lillard, of course, who just had the biggest line probably all weekend. Oh, I also met Eli Roth, who is awesome. Surprisingly, not as long of a line as I thought he would have. At times, he was a walk-up, which I was very surprised about for someone like Eli Roth. But I think, honestly, the Scream people like just took away everyone else's thunder all weekend. I mean, Juliette Lewis also had a huge line all weekend, but I did dress as John Carver and walked up to Eli in my John Carver costume, and he was like, "Oh, hey, John Carver," and he took some pictures and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. He's awesome. Like I met meeting him was awesome. Talked some Thanksgiving with him. I talked Thanksgiving with him because I lived in Methuen and he had a line about Methuen in the movie. It's really niche, like only people from like the area would know that, but he got a kick out of it and we had a good discussion about that. He even like quoted the line in sort of a Massachusetts accent, which I thought was really funny. But yeah, he was great. Super nice guy. I met Savini again, who's always fine. But actually, I feel like he was more nice this time than any other time I met him. He actually smiled. I was wearing my From Dusk Till Dawn shirt. He commented on it. He said he loved my From Dusk Till Dawn shirt. So I'll take that as a positive for Savini. I cosplayed as Art the Clown. I did Christmas art. Shout out to Art the Clown Appreciation Society on Facebook. They have a big following over there. They did a big group meetup photo So I think I posted that in the Discord as well. But I'd say about like there was probably about 30 or 40 people that showed up for that photo. I was the only person dressed as Art. I was surprised about. But yeah, so that was fun. And I also cosplayed my Ghastly Grinner cosplay for you Are You Afraid of the Dark fans. I debuted that, which was a lot more people reckon. I didn't know if people were going to recognize it, but a lot more people recognized it than I expected. So that was pretty cool. Attended the fake horror trailer showcase on Friday night, which is awesome. They're one of the only cons I know that does that. It gives literally anyone that wants to the opportunity to make a fake horror movie, a fake horror movie trailer, 1 to 2 minutes long. They showed, I think, about 20 fake horror trailers. And they were all so much fun. It was just such a blast. The crowd was great. People were laughing. People were interacting with the trailers. I wish more cons would do that. I think it's a super creative thing to do. It allows people like a creative outlet to kind of make sort of movies without having to make a full length movie. And it was super fun. It's something I wish I had attended in the past. I wish it was something Steve and I attended last year, honestly, because I think Steve would have really loved attending that one as well. But shout out to Alex Brocar fan. He is a friend of the show. He did I helped with our Hocus Pocus event last year. One of his fake car trailers was on display at the event, and it was super fun and funny. And then Saturday night they do a karaoke party, which we attended, and we had a fucking ball at that. It was just great. It's a great people watching experience. I will say that. So yeah, man, it's just a hell of a weekend. Horror conventions are always just amazing. If you ever can attend a horror convention in your area, obviously we on the show have all done it, but for those of you who have never done one, it's just a ball. Like even if you can't attend some of the bigger ones, if you can just attend a local one or a smaller one in your area, as a horror fan, I think it's just a boost of sort of serotonin to your brain, and just being able to meet some actors from some of your favorite horror movies is awesome. And just, getting behind the scenes stuff and everything. It's just awesome. And I, like I said, I can't really recommend Texas Frightmare Weekend enough. I think it's worth the trip, 100%. Um, I would put it as the best horror convention in the country, after attending this year. Monster Mania close second, but I also haven't attended a bunch of the other ones. Horror Hound I know is a big one. Todd attends every year, and there's also Scare LA and LA and some other big ones that I would like to attend in the future. But as far for me, Texas Frightmare Weekend, awesome. Definitely hope to be back next year.
Did you ask Eli Roth about my theory of two killers in the Pilgrim movie? Because
I didn't.
it's happening.
Thanksgiving. No.
Yep.
No, I wanted to personally pitch an idea to him about so he already has done Thanksgiving,
Mhm.
Plymouth, Massachusetts. I said I was gonna pitch it to him, but instead I was too scared. Um the Massachusetts horror trilogy of Massachusetts holidays. So he's done Thanksgiving in Plymouth, then he can do Salem, Massachusetts, a Halloween themed horror movie, and then do the only state that does Patriots Day, the Boston Marathon, do a Patriots Day themed horror movie and call it sort of the Massachusetts sort of horror trilogy. But I did not pitch it to him. And if he listens to this and steals it, I will sue.
Well, good news. Eli, come on out.
That would be the most niche fucking trilogy ever. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm glad you had fun.
Yeah, it was a
And,
blast, man.
Yeah, I'll go back one day for sure. It's just so fucking
Yeah,
expensive. in Canada, but-
it's very expensive. It was expensive, man. I spent a lot of fucking money. I also met Dee Wallace, who's like a fucking she's a legend, man. But she's so nice, and she's done so many awesome things and stuff like that. Yeah, man. I didn't even get to meet everybody. I wanted to meet Doug Jones, man. I was just so tapped, man. The cons are just so fucking crazy, like now, like expensive, man.
Are you
mean, it's
buying
not-
merch too, or are you just
you
getting
do.
autos?
I focused like 99% on autos for this con.
Okay.
I did buy one shirt, The Witch, of course, one of my
nice.
favorite horror movies. So there was a cool Paul Bearer Press. They're one of my favorite vendors that do cons. They always have awesome T-shirts and stuff like
And
that.
you'll get your beers in like 2 weeks too. Your
Or-
Blair Witch beers.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about those. Thank you, Todd. There was some amazing Blair Witch prints. And oh my God, there was an amazing Late Night with the Devil print, made by Mutant that you can buy it online. I considered buying it, but man, I just have no wall space and it was so big, but it was an amazing Late Night. And I wanted to get Michael Ironside to sign it since he's like the narrator in the movie at the beginning. But I chickened out and didn't do it.
Speaking of that movie, I bought that
Did you buy that?
umbrella. Yeah, the
Amazing.
umbrella set.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
God.
awesome.
It looks sick.
Expensive, but I think worth
It
it.
is, but I loved it.
Sure.
Plus, it's got
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy a VHS tape anyway, so if that comes with it, like,
Yeah.
boom, already got the Blu-ray and VHS and all other shit. That's pretty cool.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. You'll have to send some pictures of that
For
for
sure.
sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and shout out to my fellow French Canadian Kevin Durant, who is also at Texas Frightmare Weekend.
That's right.
And I
That's
heard
right.
he was one of the nicest guys there. So
I heard that too. He seemed really nice. I walked by his table. He seemed like super like interact. I would say like as far as like nicest, like just walking or Doug Jones. I didn't get to meet him,
He's my
but
top.
he like was like he just seemed like an absolute blast to meet. But yeah, everyone was talking about Kevin Durant too. I didn't even mention Evan either. My buddy
Oh, yeah.
Evan from listener Evan, who I got to see, and we just kept running into each other all weekend. He sat with us at the Scream panel as well. But he was great as well. I know we were all busy. We were all weekend grabbing autographs and stuff like that. But it was awesome to run into Everin quite a few times throughout the weekend. All right, Totter. That's about it for Texas Frightmare Weekend. Once again, thank you to them for the press passes. And hopefully they'll give them to me again next year because that'd be nice. All right, but bust out the books, Todd. It's time for trivia.
Quarter number 2, Steve in a commanding 1-point lead, 1-point lead, excuse me, with 12 points. Joe at 11, myself third place with 10. What's up? Who's going first?
It is tight this year.
Neck and neck.
I'll go first.
Oh.
All right. So first one, guess the movie based off the IMDb parental guide.
Oh.
Starting with some sex and nudity.
Both?
Lovely.
Or maybe not. We'll see. Some women dancers doing the can-can are seen very closely. A woman remarks, "It doesn't seem proper. All those girls showing their talents."
Love it.
Violence and gore. A man is hanged from an elevator, and we see him hanging by the noose around his neck for about 5 seconds. There is no profanity at all in this movie.
Oh.
Interesting.
Alcohol, drugs, and smoking. Smoking. That's all it says.
Okay.
Frightening and intense scenes, and really the giveaway.
Okay.
Jared's wax mask is cracked, and we see his disfigured and burnt face underneath.
Oh, it's House of Wax.
Correct.
Couldn't place that title there for a second.
The
The
original.
original?
Yeah.
Right.
Hence the lack of nudity, swearing.
I was thinking From Dusk Till Dawn until you said no swearing. I'm like, never mind.
Yeah, you're right.
All right.
All right.
I'll go next.
Okay, take it.
Fuck you.
Okay,
Wow.
well, all right.
Ooh, we are
I'm
fighting today.
gonna change this question to Steve related.
He goes to Texas for 1 weekend. He comes back like,
Hey, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
It's got a cowboy hat on. You guys can't see. It's like, what the hell?
Straw in his fucking mouth. It's like,
All right. Guess the movie based on the IMDb information.
Oh.
This movie was released in 1996 with an R rating, clocking in at 1 hour and 48 minutes. Categories: dark comedy, supernatural horror, action, crime, vampire horror.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Correct.
Yes. Yes. It was a gamble, but it paid off
yeah.
because of the crime with the Gecko brothers and all that shit.
Right.
Okay. I'm gonna give you the killer's name. You're gonna give me the movie. His name is John Charles Bartlett.
Ooh.
That sounds familiar.
I used to do these, and I liked these. I'm gonna
You
start
did
doing
used to
these
do
once
this.
again. Yeah, I
Stole it.
forgot. I kind of forgot about them. John Charles Bartlett, huh?
Yep.
Can you give me a decade?
90s. I
90s.
had to look at the thingy.
Bruiser.
Incorrect. I was gonna maybe ask one like that. I'm about to table that.
It sounds so familiar. It's killing me.
It does sound familiar.
I'm not gonna give you any fucking hints.
All right.
I'm just gonna go. I have no fucking idea.
Oh man. The answer is no, I'll give you a hint. We reviewed it.
Oh,
That
John
doesn't help
Charles
me.
Bartlett.
of course we did. Okay, I'm gonna
Going
go
once.
urban legend.
Incorrect. The answer is The Frighteners.
Just last week.
Fuck, yeah. Fucking names, man.
Lovely.
Love it.
All right. Easy question.
Okay.
Maybe not an easy answer, but easy question. What's the full title for The Omen 4?
The Omen 4. The Awakening?
Correct.
Yes.
On
Nice.
fire tonight.
Calling you out, brother.
All righty. Which of these vampire movies is not real? So I'm going to give 4 movie titles,
Oh, nice. I like this question.
and you tell me which one is not an actual movie.
Okay.
Okay. Number 1, Dracula's Dog. Number 2, Dracula in Space. Number 3, Dracula and Son. Number 4, Batman Fights Dracula.
Dracula and Son.
I'm gonna go Dracula's Dog.
You are both incorrect.
Oh, damn.
Dang. Well,
The
it's
correct
50-50.
movie is the correct answer is Dracula in Space. Was
Really?
the-
Really? I'm like,
Damn. Yeah, yeah.
I almost guarantee that's definitely one.
Me too. Yeah, and I knew Dracula vs. Batman was real
Yeah.
too.
That's funny. All right. Fuck it. I am gonna do a bruiser question since I know we all watched it recently. Okay. So Henry, our title character, he is eating cereal. What does the dog turn on?
Oh, it's the power saw.
Yeah, yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Table saw, power saw,
Table saw,
whatever.
Been a
Same
minute
shit.
since I've seen that one.
I thought you just watched it, Bruiser.
Henry or Bruiser?
Bruiser. Henry's the main
shit.
character.
I'm sorry, I thought you meant Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. I kind of zoned out there for a second.
All right. 4 clues. Amateur night. Second honeymoon. Tuesday the 17th. And tape 56.
What
Ooh.
was the last one?
Tape 56.
Ooh.
I'll repeat them quickly. Amateur
okay.
night, second honeymoon, Tuesday the 17th, and tape 56.
I'm going with So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Wrong.
I got not.
Hate
I
that
got
movie.
nothing, man.
You guys give up?
Yeah.
Directed by Radio Silence. It is 4 segments in VHS.
Okay.
All right.
Clever girl.
All righty. Back to me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. 3 letterbox reviews. Guess the movie. I fully support vampires killing each other, but I draw the line at killing dogs.
Okay.
Okay. There is a great movie in here. It's just hidden by a runtime that's way too long. Terrible villains and not being entirely sure what it wants to be. Pretty original concept, though. And that review comes to us by our good friend Todd.
Oh.
Did he? Well, okay.
And finally, this one should be the dead giveaway. How do you fuck up From Dusk Till Dawn meet Snakes on a Plane?
Flight to the Living Dead.
Incorrect.
Shit.
Oh, fuck. God damn, what's it called? I
Is
know
it that one
exactly.
from like 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2-3 years ago. I just don't
can't
fucking
remember that
remember the name of it. I don't know. Fuck, I have no idea. I know exactly what it is too. I think I put it in my top 10 even.
Steve gave it 4 stars. Todd,
Yeah.
2.5.
It's the one where the
Actually,
like,
Todd 2 star. No, Todd 2.5. Yep. And
it's the one with
Steve
the
gave it
terrorists take over, right? But there's like a vampire on
That's exactly
board.
it.
You're
Dominic,
right, yes.
Dominic Purcell is the
You are exactly right.
yeah.
What's the name of
However,
that
you do
fucking
not have the movie.
I just don't fucking know.
Yeah, shoot. Don't know.
All right. Well, you guys, yeah. I mean, you guys are right on it, but you didn't have the title. The movie is called Blood Red Sky.
Blood Red Sky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy shit. All right. All right. Lastly, here. Okay. In the birds, hopefully you're up on your birds trivia from 64.
Yeah.
What type of birds does the young lady buy for her love interest's
A
kid
raven?
sister? Incorrect.
Parakeets.
Incorrect. The answer is lovebirds,
Well, that makes
which
sense.
might be parakeet. I don't fucking know, but
Yeah.
I don't think they are.
No.
But who knows?
yeah.
I don't think I even. I think I went 0 for tonight. It hurts.
Oh.
Oof. All right. Big night for me. 3, Steve 1, Joseph 0, which ties Steve and I at 13 apiece, with Joe sliding into third place with 11.
Ouch.
Oof.
Hurts,
It's that
man.
that barbecue
I
fucking
still have that. Yeah,
the meat
text,
sweats, dude.
that horror convention brain fuzz. I guess. Yeah. Bummer. All right. That leads us into our main event of the evening now. 2024's Abigail, directed by Matt Bettinelli Open and Tyler Gillette, best known as Radio Silence, of course, starring Melissa Barrera, Dan Stevens, William Catlett, Catherine Newton, Kevin Durant, Angus Cloud, and Alicia Ware as our title character, Abigail. Plot. After a group of criminals kidnap the ballerina daughter of a powerful underworld figure, they retreat to an isolated mansion, unaware that they're locked inside with no normal little girl. Totter, take it away.
It's actually a pretty good synopsis, actually, for that one. Yeah, pretty straightforward, man. We have a little rich kid. She's a ballerina. We lead in with her on the stage, and she's doing her thing, right? And it turns out there's some no-gooders outside, a group of bad girls who want to kidnap her for ransom money, right? So they're tracking her. They break into her house and wait for her to arrive back from ballet practice, whatever it is, and they're sneaking around, and then they knock her out with some serum of some sorts. And they're in and out. They're professionals. We're in and out in 10 seconds. Drive her to a safe house where they meet. Is it Giancarlo or Juan Carlo Esposito? How do you pronounce his name?
Giancarlo.
Giancarlo Esposito from Breaking Bad fame. And he's like, all right, here's the deal. You guys got to keep her in here for 24 hours. And then after that, we'll fucking call it a day. I think they're getting like 7 million a piece for doing this job. At first, nobody knows who she is, who her father is, why they're kidnapping her, and so on and so on. Similar to like Reservoir Dogs, the criminals aren't allowed to know each other's names. So just like each one has a job. You got like the fucking medic / girl who's one Brera from Scream. She's like the nice one, and then you have like this dude. He's like the fucking ringleader. He's kind of a dick, and you have the buff, the muscle dude, and you have the fucking stupid ass driver, which I hate, which we'll talk about later. And he's like, yeah, you gotta stay here for 24 hours, like I said, and we'll call it a day. Lo and behold, though, something's not afoot, or something's afoot or whatever, and we start showing the fucking Abigail, like she takes off her mask, right? He's like, this is me, I'm nice, like if you like play along you won't get hurt. And she's like, my father's this guy, and they're like, oh shit. Turns out her father's like some big crime boss, right? And they have this hitman that literally cuts people's heads off and stuff, and they killed a bunch of FBI agents. How did it get done? I don't know, man. This hitman's crazy. They're gonna send the hitman to kill us now. But are they the evil, or is Abigail the evil? Which you already know because the synopsis tells you what it is. Yeah, like on paper, I think this is a really cool movie. I did not, and I ended up not liking any of the characters, like none of them. And I know like we want to root for the bad guys to get killed, but you got to give me something. You got to give me someone to root for. I fucking hated the driver. He talks like this. What's up, girl? I'm the best driver in the. Shut the fuck up, you stupid bitch. shut up and drink your whiskey, whatever you're doing. I hated
Todd,
that guy.
he's dead, man. Give him a break. All
I
right.
don't. He should have
R.I.P.
died a little, like 40 minutes sooner. Wait,
No, I
dead in
mean
real
he died
life?
in real life.
Yeah, that's who that
Oh
movie's
no!
dedicated to. He
Oh
died during
shit!
production.
Oh my word. Well, you know what? I I still hate the character. I'll
Yeah, that's
fucking
fair.
whatever. I hate the
That's fair.
character. The actor was told to play it that way. So you can hate characters and not hate the actors. Rest in peace to him. Had no idea, but that does not change my opinion of the character. The character sucks. But yeah, I didn't. I think the tone for me and the pacing was a little bit off. I just wanted like Abigail to just go fucking ape shit and rip people apart, which she does. But like, there's so much in between that I didn't like. Um, what about you guys? I feel like a piece of shit now, but whatever.
um, no, I mean, so I will say like Angus Cloud, he's most best known for Euphoria, which is like one of the biggest shows like on HBO, right? He did pass away, rest in peace, of course. I will say he like plays the exact same character in that show that he does in this movie. Like I just think that's like him. Like, I don't think he's like known for his acting per se. He was fine, whatever. I overall like, so obviously like the trailers, I was not looking forward to this movie at all. It just seemed like very tonally weird to me and stuff like that. But I went in with kind of like an open mind because I had seen a lot of people liking it and stuff like that. And overall, I came out mostly positive on it. I thought Abigail was fantastic. Like every time she was on screen, I thought she was great. Like I really thought the actress that portrayed her, the little girl, was great. Um, I thought she played, the vampire role really, really good. I didn't love the father character. Like I feel like he should have been more foreboding or imposing, but like when we get to him, it was kind of underwhelming. I disagree with you in one aspect, Todd. I liked most of the cast of characters. It was sort of like this ragtag, random ass group. I thought Melissa Barrera actually was really good in this, and I gave her a lot of shit for Scream 5 especially, but I feel like she's really coming into her own, especially like after Scream 6 and now this movie. I feel like she was the character to root for in this. She was a recovering addict and stuff like that, and trying to do right by her son and stuff. So I thought like she had a interesting little arc. I enjoyed her character. Kevin Durant was funny in his limited role. I saw a lot of people like praising his role and stuff like that, but to me, it was like whatever. Catherine Newton, I feel like she's starting to become the new it girl in horror as well. I liked her in this as well. Yeah, I mean, I like the cast of characters. I thought they were all entertaining enough. The kills were, pretty good. It gets really fucking crazy gore towards the end. I feel like though, like there was just something like slightly missing here. Like, did I enjoy it? Did I have a fun time? Absolutely. But my issue is that they did the exact same thing in Ready or Not with the exploding bodies. That it just didn't hit the same way. It was like they went back to that same well, and it made it less original. Then I think they should have went and did something a little different. As far as like the exploding vampire thing. So that kind of like killed it a little bit for me. But overall, I had a fun time and it left it open for a potential franchise, and I'd be okay with seeing another one.
So I feel like I'm in the middle of you two in this one. There are some things I liked about it and some things that I didn't, and I echo a lot of what both of you said. Like particularly, I really feel that Dad should have been like a bigger character, or at least not even being there, but just his presence or his like aura should have been a little bit bigger because we constantly see like art of him and statues of him, and he's got this really like cool kind of creepy hat. I mean, the whole mansion reminded me of like Resident Evil, which was pretty rad. So when he is revealed, like near the end of the film, I was expecting some big reveal. Like I thought it would be either like a big actor that we didn't know was part of this. I mean, Matt Good is good, like he's fine. He was good in The Watchmen and stuff like that, but it wasn't like this big reveal. Like I was expecting to have like this giant actor kind of walk in because they really kind of set it up like it's a big deal, but once he's there, it's like, oh, okay, whatever. you know. I did like the majority of the characters, like Joe. I didn't like them all though. I did like Melissa Barrera. I thought she was actually great in this for the same reason. Like, because I didn't like her in Scream, you kind of attached that to her. But now that I've seen her in this, I could see that she has range, and I really like that. Catherine Newton's awesome. Kevin Durant, I love him in a lot of stuff. And it's funny because he's French Canadian, but I didn't like his French Canadian accent in this. I thought it was coming and going depending on what scene he was in or what he was saying. Because I've heard it enough in my life to know that what it sounds like, and it didn't quite sound like that, and that was off-putting to me. Who I didn't like though is what I what I wrote down as budget Sam Rockwell, which ended up being Dan Stevens. I didn't like that character at all, or that, and his motivation didn't make sense, and I don't know. I wasn't vibing with him.
Is he the
Same
cop?
thing. The what?
Is he the cop?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, same thing with Angus Cloud. I wasn't really vibing with his character, but I think that was on purpose. They were making him purposely annoying. I wish Giancarlo Esposito was in it more. Like, I feel his aura is diminishing a little bit in me because he's in too many projects. Like, I see him in fucking everything. And it was better when he kind of selected his things, so that was kind of an issue. But my biggest issue is the overall feel of the movie. And I liked the actress who played Abigail, but I felt all of her scenes were a little too posed, which made it seem fake to me, almost like a haunted house rather than an actual character. And I take a few moments where she's like dancing out of nowhere as if she's on stage. And at one point, she has a body that she's dancing with. Like, why is she doing that? It doesn't really make any sense. It felt so like fake, and that kind of took me out of it. I didn't feel like this, it had like the raw energy that something like Ready or Not did. And I agree with you, Joe. The fact they exploded is cool, but because I knew I was going into a radio silence film, and it's like the exact same thing that they pull in Ready or Not, it didn't feel special this time. It was like, cool, there's a lot of blood, it's but it wasn't like a big like, holy shit, that was awesome. So it's got some issues, and we'll discuss some more, but I liked it. I just didn't love it.
Yeah, let's talk about the dancing because I cringed, man. Like it's if you I feel like if you thought it was cringy in that robot movie, Megan, then you definitely have to think it's cringy in this because like, oh man, this like creature's coming after me, and then she starts doing ballet dances. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why we? I don't know. It didn't vibe. And I know they're kind of trying to be like quirky or something, but I just did not like that.
I didn't have an issue with it, or like a big issue with it, just because like she's like we see her as like this trained sort of ballerina at the beginning of the movie, so it's sort of her thing, and it kind of like separates her a little bit, I guess. I don't know. I was okay with it. I thought like it just added a little bit of character to the character. And it lent for some like memorable or funny scenes to me anyway.
Did you guys think the comedy was good? I thought it was very hit and miss.
Hit and miss, very. I agree.
Yeah, sometimes I was like the whole like onions thing made me laugh, because fucking young
That's
people
funny,
don't
yeah.
know shit. But a lot of it, I'm like, no, that's forcing it too much, So that was another kind of issue I had with it, is tonally it was kind of all over the place, and also like her attacks, right? So when Abigail would attack the crew, I felt like it was a little too attack, rest, attack, rest. Like I didn't feel like this constant foreboding presence in the house. It's like, okay, she just attacked someone, so I know they're gonna have like 10 minutes of them just fucking around before she shows up again. And it felt almost more video gamey to me than it did like an actual person that they're running away from and stuck in this house with. So that was another issue for me.
Yeah, I agree, and I didn't understand her power level either. Because one scene she's able to be held down by just a regular man, and then a following scene she like smashes open a steel door with no problems because she's just fucking with him. Like, was she fucking with the guy, letting him think that he can hold her down, or what's the deal? Like, I thought that was a little bit up and down with her ability.
I think it comes down to like obviously a very popular line that you even hear in the trailer is, she likes to play with her food. So I took it as sort of, it was kind of like she enjoyed the hunt, she enjoyed kind of messing with them, knowing that in the end she can clearly overpower them. I mean, she fucking levitates at one point.
Okay.
She
The
has
fucking
these
levitation, man. We got to talk about it first. It looked awful. It was so fucking obvious that she was on a like some kind of gurney, like just the way that she was like it just it didn't look good at all, and it came out of nowhere, and they don't do it again. I just like, why even put it in the film?
It looks cool.
It looked
Didn't
cool,
though.
and I think it was more for like the laugh where they're like, "Oh, she's fucking," like I think they were like, "She's fucking levitating now" or whatever. You know, I think it was more for like the laugh and the comedy aspect than anything.
Hmm.
I think it was just for the joke, right? And it either is gonna land for some people or it's not.
Yeah.
It didn't really land. That's like one of the more misses for me. Yeah.
I feel like the whole movie, like all the scenes were like just to get the joke to land or to hit, and it's like really like the entire setup was that for that stuff, and it kind of bugged me. Like once you realize what's happening, I did love though the scene where the blonde chick falls into the pool of bodies. That's so fucking cool. Like like I think Steve mentioned, or maybe both of you, but that house is freaking dope, man. Like I would have loved for that house to be a character too, like where they're trying to like hide and shit, and like they fall into like another trap or something like that, or she's got like bodies, something like that. But they underutilize that amazing set.
Yeah, that's where I felt it reminded me of Resident Evil, where you're going into this house and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger somehow, and it just gets crazier and crazier. But you're right, they dabble in it, but they never quite go there. Like when they go into that room that has the statue in the back, and it's like kind of like this grand room, but it's somewhere like that. That was like, oh shit, you're opening up this whole kind of crazy other house within the house. But then they kind of abandoned it, and you have glimpses of it, but they spend most of the movies in fucking hallways or like in the kitchen, like some shitty fucking kitchen in the basement. Like, yeah, utilize the house for sure.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, two of my favorite scenes in the whole movie is the end scene in that really grandiose sort of room that looks really cool and stuff, and then sort of when she's reading everyone, which I thought was an awesome scene. Like I really like that sort of aesthetic they had going on in that room. So yeah, I mean, I think I agree. I think it was sort of underutilized. I think they could have did more. I think they could have did more with like, that pool of bodies. I think they could have found more rooms like that with even more sort of shocking stuff sort of going on, like maybe some bones or throw in and stuff like that. I also think they gave away way too much in the trailer. Like you knew Catherine Newton was going to turn. Like they showed it in the trailer, which was like sort of, I think, a massive spoiler.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't watch the trailer then.
Yeah.
But yeah, about that scene or her sequence. So is she a full-fledged vampire, or is Abigail like mind controlling her? Because I remember, you know how when she's dancing and Abigail's dancing too in a different room, and she's mirroring what she's doing. Is what's the deal with that?
Good question. I took it as like Abigail was able, like she wasn't like fully turned yet or whatever, or she was sort of like she was turned enough that Abigail could control her, but she's not like completely on her own yet. And yeah, what even I kind of forget honestly what happens to her in the end. Does she end up just
Yeah, she
fully
gets killed.
dying?
Yeah, she
Okay,
explodes
yeah.
like all of them,
Okay.
like with
Was she get
Okay, gotcha.
stabbed with a fucking spear or
uh,
something?
I don't remember if it's the spear or she's the one who got like fried by a light by a mirror or
Uh,
something. But yeah, she's one of the ones that explodes, and that's one of my other issues. There are good things about this movie too, which I'll talk about too. But another issue I had is, and similar to the Frighteners, there are too many rules, like about the whole vampire turning, and some of them have mind control, but some of them don't. Depends how you're turned, depends who turned you. You can get bit and turned, but you could also apparently get bit and not get turned. It's like the rules are fucking all over the place, and they tried to explain it, but it still didn't make enough sense to kind of be satisfied with it, in my opinion, anyway.
yeah, so we learned pretty early on that there's a big security system that locks everyone in so they can't get out. And then Miss Esposito or Mr. Esposito is also a vampire, and he's kind of like pulling the strings, right? Like he wanted them to join him and kill the main vampire, right? Take over the family business. Like, come on, man. We see this every fucking time in these movies. Like the main henchman or whatever betrays them.
He should have been Lazar. Is that his last name? The dad?
Yeah.
The whole thing was set up essentially by him as a way to make his daughter kind of play, like it would have been almost a better reveal than what they ended up going with. So, but yeah, it was weird to have him just in that room, kind of watching, like peeping at the fence of the
It's
film. It
peeping.
kind of reminded me of House on Haunted Hill, the remake, you know, the one we reviewed on film with like Chris Kattan and stuff. It kind of gave me those vibes with the house that locks itself and the control room where people are watching stuff like that. So yeah, it's odd.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think they like were yeah, the dad like they talk about the father character so much, like we mentioned, and it's just like it needed they really it's such a small role that they really should have paid like a bigger actor or something, you know, because you were expecting to be like, oh shit, this guy's gonna be
Wesley
like
Snipes.
yeah, like someone huge, you know, like some sort of like bit or like you know, a well-known face or something like that, or just even like have him just put him in some fucking crazy ass makeup, you know, like that's fucking like wild, you know, where like have him have wings or some fucking crazy shit, you know, where he's like really fucking scary looking. Like go one way or the other, but just the reveal is just so lackluster
Yeah, it's
at
just
the
a
end.
dude.
Yeah.
It's like, this is my dad. He's just a dude. All right.
Mhm.
How do you guys feel about the surviving character in this? Do you think she should have lived or she should have died?
Yeah, I liked it. I actually liked how this, you know, ended. I liked her and Abigail teaming up, you know what I mean, to defeat um the you know, the dad character, right? At the end of the day, right? They end up teaming up because she's Abigail's in trouble and it's like, okay, well I've been going after her, but it's like, you know, it's either life or death at this point, and it kind of yeah, it was interesting. I dug the whole end I love that whole end sequence, honestly. It's probably one of my favorite parts of the whole movie.
I wasn't as strong on it. It was just like, eh, okay, you know, I like the exploding bodies, you know, all that stuff. But I mean, I was fine with her kind of being the final girl because I liked her in the movie and everything like that. But it reminded me again too much of Ready or Not, like the way she just walks out of the mansion at the end, and it's like the sun's starting to come out, and it just, I don't know. I wish they would done something different, or you know, in this movie, and they didn't. You know, it was a cool sequence at the end, but not anything that's like super memorable to me. Not like Ready or Not, which was super memorable. You know, so I was just kind of like, all right.
Yeah, I agree. They need to, it's if Ready or Not wasn't a thing, this would maybe be cooler, because they borrow a lot of story beats too from that movie. Finding the pool of bodies, and then in Ready or Not, she finds a fucking stable full of bodies she falls into. So there's like a lot of similarities that are cool on their own, but like, yeah, like it makes perfect sense for a vampire to explode. Like that's a really cool thing. But like not when you've already used it like 4 years ago. It's like, man, bummer.
Did you guys feel that some of the side stories were kind of just wasted too? Like Joey, like Melissa Barrett's character, her whole side story with her, you know, she doesn't see it as their son or something. Like it did nothing for me because I didn't really feel it. You know, I didn't feel like she was this great mother that missed her son. It just felt like I don't know. They just didn't do enough with it, in my opinion. And there are a lot of these little like kind of story points that kind of go nowhere. Like I wish they had better character development. And think some things were weird. Like why was she so attracted to the military guy? Like out of nowhere. It's just this weird tension.
That was weird, yeah.
But it came out of nowhere. Like it just didn't.
They were
I
gonna
don't know.
kiss. I was like, oh, they're kissing
Yeah,
already.
but they
Okay.
didn't. And then he dies like super quick, like out of nowhere. And it's just I don't know. It missed something. And that was another little issue.
It was long too.
Yeah, it
It
was
wasn't a
long. It
short
felt
movie.
long too. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was almost 2 hours, right? Yeah, they definitely could have tightened this up. Oh, you know, this could have been a crisp 90 minutes. Probably would have made for a better movie. I mean, I think that's our beat with every single movie.
It's too
90
long. I'm
minutes,
tired.
please. Yeah, anything over an hour and a half, I start to like wane. But
Yeah.
if the movie's worth it, there's plenty of movies like Doctor Sleep's fucking 2.5 hours, and I think that movie's great. So
Yeah,
I think it
there's
just
plenty of
depends.
long
Yeah.
movies. How
All
long is
right,
The Shining?
Shining
Over
is
It's
two.
over
very
two
fucking long, right?
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It
pretty long
just,
too.
yeah, source material.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Think that's about it, really, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Franchise potential here? I mean, it seems
Uh,
like they leaned into a potential sequel. I think it did really well. I could be
did it?
wrong. I
It,
probably
no,
did.
so uh it kind of did really well. It
Okay.
did like 11 million in the first weekend, but these
Mhm.
movies they're like $8 million budget or some shit. So in that respect, it did well, but it didn't like not a ton of people went to see it or anything. Like horror
Right.
fans went to see it. I don't think the mass public is screaming for another Abigail film. You know?
No, no, definitely not. But as far as like horror fan, I don't think horror. This movie was perceived very well. You know, I saw a lot of mainly positive stuff about it online. I would be okay with a sequel because I mean I think the Abigail character is pretty fun and they could do other stuff with it. And Radio Silence overall they're pretty solid directors. So I'd be okay with a sequel, but is it anything like I'm clamoring for? No.
Honestly, I'd rather them just do something completely original again.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like our complaint with Scream. It's like we thought they'd be great, but it turns out the producers had such a tight grip on them that they couldn't make their vision. So I'd like them to see more original work and really try to stray away from this type of film, you know, because they're so fucking similar in a lot of
Yeah.
ways. Like really try to do something else, I think, next time. And I think that'd be better than a sequel to this. Because personally, would I go see it? Probably, but I wouldn't be excited for it or anything.
They better hurry up if they're gonna do it because she's a vampire. She can't age, and she's a young girl.
Oh
She's
yeah,
gonna age
she's
pretty
already
fast.
past that. She's already past that time.
True. Very true.
Will she be going to cons? Most likely.
Oh, she's probably already doing
Maybe
this.
I haven't seen. She hasn't been announced for any yet, but I wouldn't be surprised. And if not, she'll probably be doing them in 10 or 15 years when she
Oh,
needs
yeah.
that money for college and stuff. So we'll see. All right. All right. I'll start us off then with our ratings. Overall, at the end of the day, I think this was fun. I had fun watching it. It was like turn off your brain and just sort of enjoy the ride. I really enjoyed. I thought, and like I said, Melissa Barrera, I think was really great in this, and I'm excited to see sort of what she does next. And she seems to want to stick in the horror genre based on interviews I've read and stuff like that. And it made me potentially maybe want to meet her. She's gonna be at Monster Mania in August, so we'll see. But yeah, overall, I give this one a 3.5 out of 5. I had a good time. Is it gonna make my top 10? Probably not. You know, I don't expect it to at the end of the day, but overall, fun time.
Yeah, I'm a little lukewarm with it, honestly. I'm at a 2.5 out of 5. I just thought it was a little bit too long, not really tight with pacing and story wise. Didn't like the characters, like I mentioned, and didn't have enough of what I loved, which was the house, the sets, the blood, and Abigail herself. She needed to just go fucking balls to the wall, hunt these people down instead of taking breaks. So, 2.5 out of 5 for me.
Yeah. So overall, I was entertained for most of it. I was starting to get a little bored of it by the end of it, but I was entertained. I liked most of the performances, most of the actors and stuff like that. Great set. I really loved that. And yeah, I'm happy I watched it, but there are so many issues and too much familiar territory that's been threaded here with Ready or Not. I gave it a 3 out of 5, which is a fine score, but looking at it like top 10 of the year, it's already not in my top 10, and I've only watched 20 movies this year for 2024. So yeah, it's definitely not in that range for me, but glad I finally got to watch it.
Alrighty. And currently over on Letterboxd, sitting right in between me and Steve at a 3.2 out of 5 over on Letterboxd.
You think that goes up or down when it hits direct to TV?
Well, it already hit. It
Oh,
hit
never
like
mind
last week. Yeah. So,
I guess time
yeah.
will tell.
Yeah, time will tell. I mean, like I said, it's been overwhelmingly positive. I feel like in the forums and the Facebook groups and stuff like that I've seen. So, yeah, people seem to really enjoy this one. I think because it's similar to Ready or Not in a lot of ways, right? And that one was really well loved by horror fans. So I think we are look at it more with a critical eye, saying, well, they just went back to the same well, whereas most casual horror fans would be like, that's awesome, exploding vampire bodies, So, yeah. All right. That is going to be it then, ladies and gentlemen, for this week's episode. We hope you enjoyed our review of Abigail. Next week, what we got, Steve?
We are starting our road to Living Dead weekend. It is creepier. So next week, we're going to do a double dose of reviews with Creepshow and Creepshow 2, because there is no third one. It doesn't exist. Absolutely no way does that one movie exist. And the following week, I'll just say now, we're going to go Night of the Creep. So we're really going to lead into that weekend. So next week, 2 creep shows, then Night of the Creeps, and then a Romero retrospective, putting a nice bow on our whole Living Dead experience. So looking forward to it.
Perfect. Yeah, like Steve said, heading into Living Dead weekend. Do not forget, ladies and gentlemen, once again, June 7th through the 9th, Monroeville, Pennsylvania. Creepier, home of Dawn of the Dead, right in the Monroeville Mall. We hope you can join us for that. It's going to be an awesome time. the official Horror Squad podcast meetup for this year. If you cannot attend that, though, October 11th through the 13th, we are going to be doing the Hocus Pocus event in Salem, Massachusetts. The cast of Hocus Pocus will be there. 5 members of the cast. You can head to itsjustabunchofhalloween.com for details. Tickets are going on sale extremely soon. We will give you updates on that, but I would say within the next couple weeks, tickets for all the events will be on sale. So we hope you can, some of you can join us for that whole weekend of events. Friday night party, Saturday day autographs. Sunday, there's a screening with the cast where they'll be doing live commentary. We'll be emceeing that event. We'll be hosting the Q&A for that. We're super excited for that event as well. So come and join us for that. In the meantime, you can keep up with the podcast, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads. Just search the Horror Squad podcast. You can also email us anytime, the Horror Squad podcast at gmail.com. But of course, the best way to give up the podcast is our Discord. Completely free to join. It's linked over on our Instagram, but you can send us an email, a DM on any of our other socials. We will get you a link to join that Discord. Amazing community over there. Always updates on everything. Great community. Join us over there. Don't forget, also leave us a 5-star review if you have not already on your favorite podcast app. It helps us tremendously. Or if you'd like to rep the show, you can buy some merch, tpublic.com. Just search the Horror Squad podcast. That is also linked over on our Instagram. A bunch of fun designs over there. So, I think that's about it. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next week for our double feature of Creep Show. Bye.
Bye.